Hey guys, what's up? This is Bharat, you're watching iGyaan, and today we're going to be unboxing and taking a first look at the new Huawei Nova 3. Let's quickly get started. The Nova 3 is a flagship phone from Huawei, and also going to be launched alongside this on the 26th of July is the Nova 3i, which is a budget variant or a more affordable variant of the Nova 3. Now, since what we have here is a pre-release box, I don't have the price for the device right now, but you're free to leave your suggested price in the description below. What do you think the Nova 3 is going to be priced at? Do let me know in the comment section below. Depending on where you are, you can leave it in your currency. Now, the box is pretty standard as far as Huawei packaging is concerned. It's a pretty simplistic box. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final retail box, but it appears to be what the final box is going to look like. So the first thing inside the box is the phone itself. It looks absolutely stunning in this Twilight color. It is absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, the P20 was never launched in a Twilight color in India. So this is definitely something that I was looking forward to. It looks absolutely glamorous. I'm going to place it to the side and go further in. Now, inside our box, we do get a really cool looking SIM ejector tool. You also get a silicone back cover, which is a clear case. We are missing any kind of documentation, which is not usually included in review boxes, so which is fine. And if we go further in, you do get a really good quality USB to USB-C cable, and you also get Apple style earphones, so they're almost like AirPods. Actually, AirPods, they're included inside the box. There's also an inline microphone and a push button, and you have a standard 3.5mm headphone jack, which also says that this phone has a 3.5mm headphone jack. You will also get a 18-watt charger, 9 volts and 2 amps. So it will support Huawei's fast charge capabilities. And that is basically the box itself. It's time to take a look at the phone. Now, I'm absolutely enamored by this really nice looking Twilight back panel. I know I've seen it with the P20, but every time I just look at it, the finish and the colors, it looks absolutely mind-blowing. Now, this phone is really unique because it has quad cameras, so 4 cameras in total, with 2 cameras on the front and 2 cameras at the back. So over at the front, you do have one 24 megapixel sensor and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. What's also interesting is that this phone also has Apple Face ID style facial recognition, which also includes the infrared blaster. Now, in reality, Huawei did it before Apple did back in the day, but nobody really got to know about it. So this technology has been included inside the Nova 3, which is nice, which means that even in low light conditions, you'll be able to unlock your phone using Face Unlock, which is absolutely brilliant. You also have a fingerprint sensor on the back, which is one of the fastest fingerprint sensors I've seen. In fact, it is so quick that in the time that I tap on the fingerprint sensor and twist the phone around, it's already unlocked, and several times so it is absolutely blazing fast. Let's come back to the front. In the center of both the cameras sits the earpiece. It is pretty loud, the earpiece, and just below that is the display. Now, the display is a 6.3-inch display. It is an IPS LCD with standard 16 million colors, but you do get a really nice 84.2% screen to body ratio, along with 2340 pixels by 1080 pixels as the resolution of the display, which is a full HD plus, giving it a really strange 19.5:9 aspect ratio. You also get 409 pixel per inch pixel density. Now, the bottom is really nice and flush this time around, no branding and no buttons. You do have your on-screen buttons, which you can remove to make it a more single button navigation sort of system, giving you slightly more real estate. There are no full iPhone style gestures on Huawei devices, and that is something that I think they should really consider. You do have a little bit of a chin within the display, but the physical chin is almost negligent. The glass goes all the way to the edges on all sides, and it rounds off really nicely into the corners. It looks absolutely stunning and premium. On the bottom, also a really nice symmetrical design. Dead center is the USB-C port, which is flanked on one side with the 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the other side with the main speaker and the main microphone. Over to the right side, you do have a power button. It is slightly textured, but you don't really feel the texture unless you rub on the power button. You also have the volume rocker right above it. There's nothing on the top except a single secondary noise cancellation microphone, and over to the left is where your SIM tray is. Now, this is a hybrid SIM tray. It will take in up to a 256 gigabyte micro SD card, but you will have to compromise your SIM2 slot. Over at the back, coming back to this gorgeous looking Twilight color and a really nice finish on the glass. It rounds off all the way, all over the edges. It looks absolutely brilliant. The cameras, a dual camera vertical layout with one 16 megapixel camera with f1.8 and one 24 megapixel camera, which is a black and white sensor, also with an f1.8. This one does not have Leica, unfortunately, like the P20, but it does have gyro enabled EIS on 1080p video, so you're not getting optical image stabilization. You do have, however, phase detect autofocus. You also do have an LED flash, and that's about it. The device will capture 4K video, but only at 30 frames per second. So the user interface is pretty standard for Huawei devices. It is EMUI out of the box, so EMUI 8.2 and Android 8.1. The device will definitely get an upgrade to Android P. UI is really fast and responsive. You do have a good amount of bloatware, some games and some preloaded applications, which you can easily uninstall from this device. You also have a whole host of tools from Huawei, which are also included that will help you manage the device better. You also get standard things like if you don't like the notch on the display, you can get rid of it by going into the display settings and turning the notch off. You can also get into a eye comfort mode, allowing you to turn the blue light filter on, giving you a more natural looking light environment, especially good for reading in low light environments. Now, like I mentioned, the face unlock is pretty easy to set up. It's again almost identical in terms of setup to what we saw with the Apple iPhone X's Face ID setup. So it's quite identical to that, and it also works really well in low light environments. If you take a quick look at the camera app is quite extensive. You also do get an AI camera. So if I point it towards this plant, it recognizes it as a plant, and then it will automatically in the AI turn plant photography on and do the settings according to that. You also have a portrait mode that allows you to turn on 3D lighting effects as well. So you can turn on studio lighting, split lighting, and even monochrome portrait shots for whoever you're taking portrait shots for. And this is available on the main camera on the back as well as the front camera. You also have an aperture mode that allows you to get good amounts of bokeh in the background. This uses both the sensors combined to give you a really nice 0.95 aperture. Most of it is software enabled, but the background gets a really good quality blur and your images get really sharp. Apart from that, you also have fun features like the AR lens, which does have 3D Qmoji, which is like Memoji or Animoji on Apple. And then you also have effects and backgrounds that you can turn on and have a lot of fun with. Now the phone looks and feels extremely premium, and it also performs quite well. It does have the Kirin 970 chipset inside, which is an octa-core chipset with 4 cores at 2.4 GHz and 4 cores at 1.8 GHz. You do get a Mali G72 MP12 GPU. This variant has 128 GB of onboard storage and 6 GB of RAM. There is going to be a 64 GB variant launching as well. The battery is a 3750 mAh battery, which should be good enough for a good day's use. You do get a fast charging 18-watt charger like I mentioned inside the box. All in all, this phone seems really impressive. Now we're only concerned about what kind of pricing this will be available at, and when it will be available as far as sales are concerned, and then we'll be testing it out and giving you guys a full review if you're interested. So if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button if you're not already a part of Team iGyaan, and do let us know what you want in the final review. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Bharat. I will see you in the next one.